Okay, so the open gates of Worcester Academy, sometimes the closed gates. My exiting of the gates in 2000, definitely I took a less traveled by road. I actually bumped into a high school colleague who I graduated with on the T in Boston last week, totally randomly, and we just talked. I hadn't seen her since graduation day, and we were just talking a little bit about what we were doing, and totally different. Both in great places, just took different roads. So I graduated, I came to Worcester Academy from 94 in 7th grade to 2000 when I graduated. I went on to the beautiful University of New Hampshire in Durham, New Hampshire, where I stayed, I think, about a semester at, if that, at most. I was 17. I had just finished Worcester Academy, and I was not ready for more institutionalized learning. I had such a great education here, and with the boarding program, I learned a lot about different cultures, and I really didn't, I wanted to stop learning, I wanted to start seeing and experiencing and learning through just being there, and so I really wanted to travel and learn more and experience these awesome cultures that I had learned about from meeting people here. So from there, I just decided to travel a little bit in Europe, mostly. And I came back from traveling and had kind of a new perspective on where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure yet. I knew I wanted to do something where I helped people and provided a public service. I also knew I loved music and had such a passion for it, and I loved art and visual art. And so I went to a program called Dynamic Internship Year at Clark University. I think they're affiliated with WPI as well, at least they were when I went there. And I did some awesome internships at the Worcester Art Museum, the Highland Artist Group, and I got to learn a lot about art. I worked with a woman who did like a lot of art therapy. So not so much the music element, but art therapy. So I started to realize, oh, you can, help people think art. I bet you can do that through music too. Then I went to Princeton, and I got into really trying to just refine what I wanted to do. I had all these ideas, so many hobbies and things I love to do, but I was like, I need to make a career. I've done all this up to this point. I really need to go full force with it. And while I was at Sigmund, I met an amazing music therapist. She's actually here tonight, Susan, give a wave. And she was the first music therapist that I ever observed. I didn't know what music therapy was. I think I found you through like a random connection. Oh, music therapy, yeah, you should do it. I had no idea what it was. I watched her for like 5 minutes, and I was like, okay, I'm definitely doing this. This is like what I'm meant to do. This is exactly what I want to do. So, just keeping all your networks open, being open to anything, gets you into a position like that where all of a sudden you just find out, yeah, this is what I'm meant to do after this whole time. So from there, I decided I was like, I'm halfway through an associate's degree. I'm going to get all my prerequisites done. I'm going to find out what I need at Berklee College of Music, or just for a music therapy degree in general. I'm going to get all the prerequisites done, the gen eds done, and go to Berklee. So that's what I did. And I went to Berklee College of Music in 2005. And from there, they have, again, just a great networking school. They have places everywhere, contacts everywhere, all over the world you can go to. And I ended up in San Diego, where I'm now a practicing music therapist, probably like 60 hours a week. What would you say, Kara? Like 70 hours a week. Kara just finished the internship as well in San Diego. Okay, next. Also, if you have any questions, I'm kind of like the ask me in the moment. That way, if it does apply to something that we're going to be talking about, you're not confused the whole way through. So if you have any questions, just hands up. Okay, so I went to all these colleges. I had credits like everywhere. And I was like, how do I fit this all into what I want to do? So music performance, what can I do? With psychology, what can I do? I can do music therapy. Let's merge these all. I did go over what music therapy is, and there are different specialized forms of music therapy. So I am a neurologic music therapist, which means I have special credentials through other continuing education at Colorado State, where I do music and brain function, how the brain processes music, what happens to the brain when it's presented with a musical stimulus, how you can work in neurologic rehabilitation, traumatic brain injury, stroke, that line of work. Also a specialization in neonatal intensive care music therapy. That's working in NICU at a hospital, so you work at a children's hospital with that. Music therapy in hospice and palliative care, that's with death and dying, which music is phenomenal for. Anyone ever experienced that or have a relative where you've maybe like made a tape for, or something to help with like the passing on of their life? They call it, I think, like the musical life inventory or something like that, and you go through and they listen to songs that have carried them through their lives, and it really helps them pass them on to the next life. And then international outreach through music therapy, I'm big, is again, Worcester Academy, coming back to like the roots of where I started my education. Just because of this amazing international program that they offer here, I got into international studies at like a really young age and just really passionate about it. And that's led me to take an opportunity where if I hadn't been exposed to that in high school at a young age, I might, be kind of weary of or afraid of. But every opportunity I've had to travel internationally, I've just taken it because this school definitely set me up to be more aware of other cultures and that we are not the only thing out there. We're not the say-all and end-all of what happens in the world. It's good to know. Okay, so a little more about international outreach. In November 2006, I traveled to Japan, and I did actually an independent study. I just kind of went to Berkeley, the school I was at, and this is a good thing too in like selecting your education. Go to a school where they will give you time and space to explore things that you want and really be creative. And I just went to my department head and said, I want to go to Japan and see about the music therapy over there. Berkeley happens to have a sister school in Kobe called the Koyo Conservatory, and they had just opened up a music therapy program, so they needed help with curriculum development. So I got a chance to go over there and like hang out in Japan for a couple weeks, see an old classmate who was living over there, and it was wonderful and learn all about music therapy in Japan. In May 2007, when, at Berkeley, the travels took me to Kenya, where I worked in HIV and AIDS orphanages for children who were orphaned if their parents had HIV, and also some of the children were affected with HIV and AIDS. So that was definitely an amazing experience. And from there, that took me, actually I went to a conference presentation, and some guy was doing a presentation on his work in Jamaica, and if I hadn't gone to Africa, I wouldn't have been so inclined to go to his presentation about working in Jamaica. And we just started talking about the work I did and the work he was doing, and he said, why don't you come and just like work for me? And I was like, okay. So he was like, yeah, I'll just pay for you to go to Jamaica and supervise music therapy students. So now it's like a supervisory role where I get to go over there and help students from accredited universities all over the country to music therapy students to do music therapy with special needs children, and also in the infirmaries, in the medical infirmaries, which are pretty tough places to be. Okay, any questions so far? Music therapy populations, and this is tough because music therapy has not been around, or definitely it's been around, but it hasn't been in the mainstream for very long. I'd say maybe like 20 years, 2 decades at best, where it's been actually out, people are recognizing it, and it's still getting more and more, but jobs are scarce in music therapy everywhere because people still don't know. They're like, oh, you're gonna get to play your guitar and like sing with us, and we're just a great sing-along, and no, that's really not anything, even though we did that in the beginning. There's just more to it that people don't really like understand, the intricacies and the process that go into music, which is such a complex entity in itself.